Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for Coffee and Card at Home. This is week 4 of the Posted for You series of sessions and our final week. So over the past 4 weeks we've used the same stamp set and the same punch, which is the Rectangular Postage Stamp Punch, and we've created 4 different cards, and this is the 4th design that I'm going to show you how to create now. So for those of you who have kits to create it, you're going to need your card base. You're going to need your piece of cinnamon cider cardstock that fits on top of that as a layer. Then you should have some scraps of card in various colours, which you're going to need a vellum circle that's been punched out for you already, and then a strip of whisper white that we're going to use for our sentiment, and you should also have a piece of white baker's twine as well to use. So I'm just going to start off by folding my cardstock, and this is very vanilla colour. Just burnish my fold. My card will lie nice and flat. I'm going to pop that to the side for a minute, and I'm also going to put my cinnamon cider base to the side because I don't need that just at the moment. So I'm going to get my stamping done first of all and punch out my shapes for my scraps. So I've just chosen some random colour scraps, and I'm just going to use the same colour ink on the card. So we're doing tone on tone stamping, and I'm using the flower image. Obviously you could use any of the images that are in the set. You could mix them up a bit as well if you wanted to, so it's entirely up to you which ones you go for. So that's the real red one done. And next I have got mint macaron, and these are all just scraps that I'm using, so it's a really good card design for using up your scraps. As long as they will fit in the punch, then they're okay to use. There's my next one done. And next I have got Calypso Coral. Okay, so we're doing 5 of these. Obviously you could do as many as you wanted on the card if you wanted to. And next I have got Night of Navy, one of my favourite colours at the moment. You'd think that one wouldn't show up very well, but you can probably just see it's just visible, which is coming up really well. And then my final colour, old favourite, is going to be Old Olive. There we go. Okay, so that's all of that stamping done for now on those. And I'm going to get those punched out now. So using my Rectangular Postage Stamp Punch, which comes with the bundle, I'm just going to put each of those into my punch, line it up so it's in the centre, and punch those out. Get rid of my surplus I don't need. Calypso Coral. Oops. mint macaron. Now this is a bit hard to hold because it's a little bit small, so I'm just going to use a little tip for you, that if you get a post-it note and you stick it on the end there, then you can just use that to help you hold it in place. And you can see that my post-it note has punched out, but I can just peel that off because obviously that's just stuck on with adhesive. And then finally, I'm going to punch out my real red flower. There we go. So I've got all of those punched out. And I'm going to bring back in my piece of cinnamon cider, and I'm just going to lay them on how I think I'd like them to go. Overlapping them slightly, just so long as I can fit all five on, and they're just going to be stuck down with Tombow. So I'll just take them off now. So just a little bit around the edge, just to secure those. And they're all just glued on randomly, however you'd like them to go. And that's a couple. And the final one on there. There we go. So they're onto my base. Next thing, I'm just going to put that to the side. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I'm using the sentiment that says "Sending love your way," and I'm going to stamp that in cinnamon cider, which coordinates with the background. And I'm just going to stamp the whole thing onto my bit of card. There you go. I love the cinnamon cider because it looks almost sort of bronze colour for the ink. It's really pretty. Now, you'll see on my original card, if I bring that back in, that these are all split up. They're all different. So the way that I did that was I just cut around the words. So we could leave it just like that, but it would take up quite a lot of space on the card, and I didn't want it to sort of take over. So what I just did was I cut in quite close, just a bit of fussy cutting with my scissors around sending. This, you have to be a bit careful around this part because you're quite close to the love. I'm just going to go back around there just to get in a bit closer to the S. Okay, so you've got sending. Then we're going to cut out the love. So again, you're cutting quite close to it. Keeping close and as neat as you can. Remember to turn the card rather than your scissors. And then your way, I just kept that all as one. But you could split that into two if you wanted to. So if you're not so keen on fussy cutting, obviously you don't need to worry about this too much, but entirely up to you whether you want to try this or not. So this is a little bit fiddly, so it might not be for everybody. Okay, so I'm now going to get my vellum circle, and if we bring the original back in, you'll see that the circle was stuck over the middle and then the word stuck on top of it. So I'm just going to get my circle stuck down first. Now the thing to remember with vellum is that any adhesive that you put underneath it will be seen. So it's sometimes better to try and make sure that you put your glue on in places where, you know, it might hide it. So I'm not going to put very much on. I'm going to put a dot sort of in the centre, because I know my sentiments are going to be on there. You can see it spreads out a little bit when you press it as well, so you need to bear in mind that hopefully you'll have something that will cover that over. And then the next thing we're going to do before we stick the sentiments on is we're going to tie the twine round. So the twine is going to go around the back of the card. I'm just going to make it a bit smaller, just move my sentiments out of the way. And give myself a bit more room. So this is going to come around and then tie in a bow at the front. So you need to give yourself a bit of length to be able to do that. And what you might actually find is you might find that if you tie it in a knot first, then your bow is not going to move. So this is one of those where you almost could do with somebody's finger to hold it in place for you. So you'll see then that that's not going to move. And then now I can tie my bow. So I'm just going to tie that. And my loops on my bow are way too big, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold the dot and I'm going to pull an end and then pull it again and then pull an end and pull it again until I keep getting my loops a little bit smaller so that I'm sort of happier with the size of those. And you can see my bow is moving around quite a lot, so I'm actually going to get a glue dot just to pop on there, just to stop it moving around. So just peeling it off with my tool and then press the knot down on top. And if the glue dot is showing, you don't want it to, you can just push it in so it's a bit more hidden, but you'll see now that it's going to stay put at least. Just want to make that a little bit smaller on that side. There we go. So when you're happy with that, you can just trim the ends off. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to stick it onto our card base. It'll just make it a little bit more rigid for us to work with getting the sentiment on. So I'm going to turn it over and just put a little bit of glue all the way around the edge. And then I'm just going to put that onto my card base, making sure that it's going to have equal spacing all the way around the edge. Just make sure your ribbon is in the middle. Give that a bit of a press down to make sure it's going to stay where you want it to stay. Okay, and then we're going to stick our sentiments on now. So because I want to try and hide as much of that glue as possible that was on the vellum, I'm just going to try and see if I can arrange it so that my sentiments can be in kind of quite convenient places to hide it. So I'm going to pop sending there at a little angle, and then I'm going to put love on top of my string, or I should say twine. And then your way is going to be down at the bottom there. So I've tried to do the best I can at hiding some of that glue that was put on earlier, and then I think you'll agree that that actually looks fine then. So there we go, that's complete. So if I bring back the other one in, you'll see obviously they're just slightly different. If you look at obviously the colours that I've used and the positioning of the sentiments and that kind of thing, but a nice way to use up some scraps of card that you might have hanging around, and I'm sure you'll agree that the postage stamp punch shapes just work really well for that as well. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If there's anything that you have seen that I've used that you're interested in, the bundle of course that I've used is Posted for You with the Rectangular Postage Stamp Punch. I've used very vanilla cardstock. I've used cinnamon cider cardstock, scraps of various other colours with the coordinating inks, some vellum, some white baker's twine, and a bit of whisper white for my sentiment. All of those things can be purchased through me. So if there's anything that you'd like to get hold of, please do contact me and I will help you out with that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and next week we'll be starting a new bundle off, which is called Oval Occasions, and I'll be posting 4 videos again with 4 different ways to use that bundle. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye.